The political rhetoric of the 2024 US election shows a clear trend of polarization. In particular, the campaign conversation between former President Trump and current Vice President Harris. The election rhetoric not only continues the fiercely confrontational style of recent years, it also further revealed the deep divisions between the two parties on foreign policy, economic protectionism, and social values. First, economic protectionism has become a common topic for both sides. Whether it's Trump or Harris, neither has shown any intention of returning to traditional free trade. Trump has once again emphasized imposing high tariffs on China and other countries, trying to use this to put pressure on the outside world. But such measures often result in retaliatory tariffs from international trading partners that are ultimately passed on to American consumers. In comparison, Harris prefers to maintain certain protections in strategic industries such as chips and electric vehicles. At the same time, maintain the relationship of traditional allies in global trade. In terms of foreign policy, Trump's attitude towards NATO continues to generate controversy. He has repeatedly called NATO obsolete and threatened to cut support for countries that do not meet military spending requirements. Such remarks have raised concerns among European allies about future US commitments to their security. Some people even think that if Trump is elected, it could downplay America's leadership in NATO. In comparison, Harris is committed to strengthening traditional alliances, especially in the Ukraine crisis. He stressed his support for NATO's principle of collective security to ensure the security and stability of Europe. In addition, the debate style and content of this campaign have also been criticized, compared to the Canadian-Gasson debate in 1960. The 2024 campaign rhetoric is even more vague. Lack of substantive data and factual support. Many statements are more emotional than explicit. Stating policy details makes it difficult for voters to make judgments about the authenticity of information. This kind of vague information makes voters more susceptible to emotional This further exacerbated the social divide. The tone of the election reflects American voters' uncertainty about the country's future, no matter what the outcome is. The polarization of the United States on trade policy, foreign alliances, and domestic issues has deeply influenced the future direction of policy. In the political rhetoric of the 2024 US election, social media and emotional speech stand out. Unlike the traditional style of political debate that emphasizes rational analysis, today's candidates are increasingly relying on emotional agitation and personal attacks to win over voters. This change is in part due to the popularity of social media and the fragmentation of information dissemination. It amplifies simple emotional rhetoric, blurred the content of the policy. It fosters a divisive atmosphere, especially in Trump's campaign rhetoric. Many of the views present highly provocative content. He has repeatedly positioned himself as an anti-establishment spokesperson, claiming to overthrow the corrupt system in Washington. Such remarks appeal to the mood of some voters who are dissatisfied with the status quo. However, specific policies are often lacking. In comparison, Harris and his team tried to maintain an emphasis on facts and policy during the election campaign. But we have to play to the mood and propaganda to counter Trump's inflammatory tactics. At the same time, this election has also exposed the deep divisions in American society over values regarding social issues such as abortion rights and gun control. The positions of the candidates of the two parties are Trump's conservative stance is supported by some traditionalist voters. Harris, on the other hand, represents a more diverse and progressive policy stance, attempting to safeguard women's rights, benefits, and minority employment rights in general. The political rhetoric of the 2024 US election is no longer limited to policy debates. It's more like a clash of voter values and identities. Whether it is a candidate or a supporter, both are more likely to define the enemy's image in simple and direct terms. This polarized political environment poses challenges for future policy implementation. It also poses a greater challenge to the unity of American society.